slash the one.
All right, get ready.
Net. Okay.
Here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Did it.
Hola and welcome.
We're live.
This, my friends, is a pint.
They come in pints? Gonna get one.
I'm getting one. I'm getting me one. What? Hello. Right, it's time for the show with all the bad accents and all the bad dialects that hardly sound like they represent anyone from the merry old land of England. They're quite wrong. Nobody on this show quite talks like this, but we might as well get started and see how many people we can fool. Probably fool half a dozen people before they start figuring out that we're pulling a fast one on them. Because we ain't had nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days. Right?
Yeah. I mean, and beef jerky too, but you know, don't really
God,
talk.
you're not even in character.
talk about
Oh my
that.
God, she's not even in character.
I'm talking.
I'm
talking.
Everybody, welcome to theonering.net. It is not really a show of funny accents, but
Well, not today at least.
it could be if you want. We could make a show of funny accents and funny dialects. This is theonering.net, affectionately known as Torn, T-O-R, lowercase n, Torn Tuesday. Welcome to the show. The live stream is streaming live, and the interwebs are interwebbing, and it may have some...
Computers are computing.
And the computers are computing.
Computing.
I have a great deal of love and affection for this audience. So good to have you here. Allow me to introduce your host with the most. My name is Clifford Broadway. Some of you guys just saw me singing a very interesting karaoke song that I did. Oh, shiny. Shiny like a newborn baby's. You know what? I just trimmed everything. It's like a puppy butt. See, try that. It's like buzz buzz. I know. It's like the back. It's like the backside of a puppy dog. You know. We call
Trying to contact Sauron.
I just buzzed everything here. It's like a puppy butt. Is what we call it. Anyways, yes. My name's Clifford. Clifford Broadway. Wow, that was good. I've got something under my belt. Some stuff that I've done related to the Lord of the Rings community. Most people know me from being a contributor, sometimes a writer, and a man about town with theonering.net, where I've written lots of articles, published 2 books with The One Ring. We even made a documentary feature film.
He's accomplished.
That I wrote and produced called Ringers, Lord of the Fans, made with the wonderful assistance of fans who wanted to support the project. Made a great little documentary that got released by Sony Pictures. And then we've got a few magazine articles I've written, like for Famous Monsters of Filmland, talking about the Tolkien fan experience. We are here to talk about 80 years worth of the Tolkien fan experience, which began appropriately in a hole in the ground. There lived a hobbit. And even though he's messing with the camera, Justin is about to join us. Here on my immediate right, the wonderfully talented young filmmaker and woman about town. This is Hannah.
Hi.
Hannah
Hey.
Greenwood. Saying hey, and
Yeah, my last name is actually Greenwood.
Greenwood the Great.
A
Yes.
lot of people think I'm lying, and I'm like, no, I'm not lying.
Hannah's here to join us. She's not lying. Her name is Greenwood, and you know what? My last name is Broadway, and I'm not lying. I had nothing to do with it. You had nothing to do with it. So it is. To have a Tolkien name like that, though, one that's so specific,
destiny.
is good. That's really good.
It's destiny.
It is. You know.
See, look, when I try and get the rights for the Silmarillion,
Justin's going to come in and join. The rights to the Silmarillion are the one thing that everybody always wants to talk about, dude. Always.
And I'm always the person who brings it up.
The rights to the Silmarillion. They're not going to be released by the Tolkien estate.
They will once they learn.
When the time comes.
They learn. They'll
when
be like,
the time
whoa,
comes.
her last name is Greenwood? You like Lord of the Rings? Yeah. Yeah. Me. Don't worry. I got you.
I'll tell you something, all right? If it comes down to it, I would like nothing better than for you and your talent to be attached to that project. I mean, that'd be awesome. In the meantime, we're going to enjoy delicious homemade pumpkin spice cookies. Oh, yummy. They are, oh, look at this. If you want to call us, you can talk to us live on the hotline. If you want to have a taste, if you want to have a little taste of these homemade delicious, your mom Letitia is the best.
She'll make a batch for $50.
Yep.
Her work times are...
Yeah, and her Patreon page is www.bakemeacookie.rightnow.net. Okay?
No joke.
Have some. Hey, if you want to be part of the show, we've got that hotline number. That means phone lines are open.
Call that hotline.
You can come and be part of the show. We're going to discuss 80-year anniversary of The Hobbit. We're going to discuss amazing stuff that just happened over this past weekend with all of our friends in the Tolkien community, celebrating a really wonderful Bilbo Baggins public picnic, which was worldwide celebration with hashtag Hobbit Day. There was Hobbit Day. Everybody had that, and it was around the world. Everyone had their own birthday bashes for the birthday boys. And what else?
For the boys.
Yeah, Frodo and
Small
Bilbo.
Boys,
How interesting.
the spicy boys. No, I'm just kidding. Sauron's a spicy boy.
Sauron had a birthday the day after Bilbo and Frodo. And I even got that video. I thought that was kind of funny, that little video we did for Sala. But he never replied. That dork, he never replied back to me. Even though I sent him that, hey, what's up, Nelson? There's Nelson, there's Brittany, there's Janessa, there's Jen Bourgeois.
Ooh,
yes, Hannah for director. That's a new hashtag.
Oh,
Hannah
no,
for director. And there's
please.
Kay.
Ah.
Kaylin Griffin. Nelson says, dude, talk about what's going on with Mr. Tolkien and Peter Jackson. Nelson, I'm going to tell you something. There's always something going on with what's between the Tolkien estate, who have the rights to the books, and that little section of the world where the video games are coming from, Shadow of War, picking up so much steam. Everybody's got to have a taste of that, a slice of the pie, and the Hobbit films, the Lord of the Rings films, all made by our friend Peter Jackson, with the able assistance of a lot of New Zealand and international talented stars and actors and craftsmen. A lot of great people. But those people...
All of them played by Jed Brophy.
Jed Brophy,
all of it.
Our universal actor. He's the best in every role. But
All of it.
all of this, yeah, I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree. You've got to have like room for Ian McKellen, and you've got to have room for Sean Bean
It's not even
and
Ian
Viggo
McKellen.
Mortensen.
It's Jed Brophy in a mask.
Okay, and surprise, he played Aragorn.
Exactly. He's all of them.
Is that the
He's
secret?
all of... Yes.
Is this the deep dark rabbit hole?
This is the deep...
This is the ultimate conspiracy theory that Jed Brophy played all the characters. Anyways.
Everybody hashtag it now.
Oh gosh, what we're talking about, since you asked me to mention this, Mr. Tolkien, Christopher Tolkien, who is, well, one of the few remaining surviving children of J.R.R. Tolkien. Christopher Tolkien has the rights to all these books over here, and Peter Jackson and company made the rights that they had available over here for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. This book right here, as a matter of fact. That's right. I'm in a green screen studio holding up a bloody green book. Do you believe it? It's a bloody green book. But they had the rights to The Hobbit, and they had the rights to The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of...
It is glowing.
Glowing.
Well, it's transparent and... Ooh.
What is this magic?
What is this?
Wait,
oh.
if I just put my hand over
Oh, there you go. Isn't that...
my face is gone.
What are these amazing visual effects? Whoa.
Did Weta do them?
Here's the thing.
Probably.
We're never going to see the Silmarillion or Unfinished Tales or any of that other stuff that is over here and controlled by the estate, and we will never see it produced or adapted into TV shows or movies or video games because those rights are not released by the family.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet, at least. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hello, Nigel. How you doing, guys? Hey, Vicky.
Nigel.
Hey, Vicky. Good to see you. Welcome to the show, everybody. If you want to talk with us, you can text us. You can call us live, 530-64-FRODO. There's a number going by. It's going to keep going. Actually, it's going this way now. There it is. That number's... Push that away. Push it away. Push it. Push it. Push it.
Leave.
All right, it's off.
Go.
And then, oh, well,
Thank
it's
God.
gonna...
What?
Here it comes. It's going. Oh, it's knocking my hat off the wrong way. All right, knocking my hat off. Text 530-64-FRODO for Frodo. And then you guys will be able to be part of the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so-
communicate with us and be like, I want a cookie. Then we'll
yeah,
just laugh.
we'll share a cookie with you and we'll
No.
have a talk.
Oh,
So,
I mean, at least Cliff will. I'll just laugh.
does
We'll
it
go,
does it even feel like ancient history when someone says, "Wow, the Hobbit's 80 years old," and you're like, "Really?" Like, no, I don't even have anyone in my family who's that old, and it's like, wow, who'd ever imagine? What do you think? That it's survived this long, that it's still a cultural phenomenon, and that people are still, handing this story down to their kids after all these years. This is still a thing.
Well, I think it's reached. I think it's reached a point to where it's become such beloved literature, and it's kind of become like Moby Dick or like Sherlock Holmes or Dante's Inferno. That was a bad. Nobody reads Dante's Inferno except for me. Jeez.
I kind of thought that it was cool because I was into the woodcuts by Gustave Doré. I was always looking at his really cool woodcut illustrations in those old editions, and I was always into that stuff. That was kind of cool. But no, most of what you mentioned sounded like reading assignments in English class. Like Moby Dick is not something I would have
Hey,
ever read,
Moby
except
Dick
I
is
was
cool.
assigned by the teacher.
Okay,
The
maybe
teacher
it's just
assigned
because
it.
my dad was in the Navy or something, but Moby Dick
Okay,
is
all right,
cool,
yeah.
okay?
I had, my brother
right.
was in the Navy. It's cool. All right, Moby Dick is cool. But
Fight
I mean,
anyone.
what? But you were saying that these books
Yeah.
are standing the test of time.
Yeah, like Sherlock Holmes and the Grimm's fairy brother, the Grimm's
The Grimm's Fairy Brothers.
fairy.
Sorry,
Yes,
the
the
Grimm's
Grimm's
Fairy
fairy brothers. That's what they're not called. But the fairy tales by the Grimm's brothers and like Hans Christian Andersen, you still see that like in
Yeah.
film and media or video games or whatever, like elements or
Yeah.
whatever being taken from that, and
I see it moving into the area of mythology. Like everybody, whether they have it assigned in class or not, everybody gets their hands on stories of ancient Norse mythology or ancient Greek mythology or their Roman equivalents. And everyone's like, whoa, all these cool mythology stories because they're recycled and so prevalent in our comic book
Yeah.
heroes and in our modern popular arts. And the popular arts are super, super, super strongly influenced by very specific, Eurocentric mythology. Thus, the exceptional box office performance of Wonder Woman worldwide.
yeah.
So
Okay, I just
now
wanted to add a thing.
look at the Hobbit moving into that area of mythology. I see that's where you're like, people are always going to throw out the story of Dorothy and the Ruby Slippers and the Wizard of Oz. People will throw out those story references and say, the situation we're in now is kind of like that situation in The Hobbit, or it's like that situation in Greek mythology where you were in that blah blah, and people always will make those drops of reference points.
Yeah.
And I think that The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings is somehow moved into the area where we'll start to refer to it as mythology, and it will be a constant reference point for other things we're doing politically or socially or culturally. That's something I see after 80 years of The Hobbit having that kind of a long-standing literary influence. I think it's becoming mythological in the way that we revere it, the way we talk about it. You know what I mean? Except maybe it's just an example of one of the most modern stories we've had that might be moving into that realm, into that rarefied air
Yeah.
of mythology. It must be one of the most recent ones. You know?
I would definitely agree with you, and also just kind of a side note that I just call him Remus, the actor who played Remus, who also played. I don't want to get into spoilers, but who was in Wonder Woman? You know what I'm
Yeah?
talking about.
Uh,
I liked his performance. I didn't think he was a good fit for the character, though. I just can't see him as.
You mean David Thewlis?
Yeah.
Yes, he's
I
played.
didn't-
He played Lupin,
Lupin.
Remus Lupin,
Yeah.
in the Harry Potter films, and of course David Thewlis has been in a lot of other films. A lot of. He's
I
a,
just
cha-
see
he's
him
a
as
character actor. He's done a lot of movies.
I just see him as Remus. I'm sorry.
As Remus Lupin.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all I see him as. Like, maybe it's just me, but
No,
like
I've
when
seen
it
him
was
in a lot of
revealed,
cool
I was
movies.
like, oh, I don't know. That was just my opinion, but like kind of
Okay.
going off of what you said,
Yeah.
I think like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, kind of in a way Star Trek,
Mm-hmm.
kind of in a way, but like stuff like that. and kind of Harry Potter too, but I mean, like, Harry Potter takes from, you know, more so like the references. But it's really like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings that are moving on, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, we're talking about what these pieces of storytelling are and how they've all of a sudden become elevated to something that you'd call modern mythological. That's what I'm calling it now. Hey, what's up? Woo. What's up? Our first crash guest crashing the show.
Oh no!
Hello.
Oh man!
Whee!
What's going on?
I don't know. I haven't been here in like 2 months. What's going on with you
It
guys?
has been 2 months. Where did you go? Did you go to Gen Con in Indianapolis?
I didn't go to Gen Con. I actually, the only place I've been to is Forever Twilight in Forks, which is a festival about the Twilight saga that actually happens in Forks, Washington, where all of the books and stuff take place.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea Schwartz, right here, having traveled the world to the far ends of the tabletop gaming universe and back again. Hey, happy birthday, girl!
Woohoo!
Thanks. Celebrating.
I basically share a birthday with Bilbo. Like, I can't go wrong with it.
You've got the trifecta of these birthdays all in a row. Bilbo and Frodo on the 22nd of September, which is weirdly one day after the publication date.
It's a sign.
One date after publication. Then one day after Bilbo and Frodo's birthday, Sala Baker, one of my favorite Maori actors who played the Dark Lord Sauron in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And then, hey, Chelsea Schwartz,
Woohoo!
birthday girl on the 23rd. I mean,
24th.
24th.
Yeah,
22nd,
24th.
23rd, 24th.
Yeah.
All these birthdays in a row. Hot diggity.
And I do believe, I think Will Smith is the 25th.
And
so
Will
just
Smith
keep it
is coming
going.
up.
Yeah, but you know who I share a birthday with?
Who?
Jim Henson.
Yay, Jim Henson. Oh,
That's
I
cool.
miss Jim Henson.
I
He's the
share a
best.
birthday with Kevin Bacon.
Guys,
That's cool, though.
But Jim Henson.
have a pumpkin spice cookie. These are absolutely delicious. Hello, Lobo. Lobo Morales says, hello, lady. That's very interesting. When we talk about the transcendence of this saga, we have to think about a huge impact, massive influence, especially because they're definitely inspirational. They are inspirational. The stories that Tolkien left behind are not nihilistic. In fact, it's the opposite of nihilism. There's something about the optimism, and there's a certain, dare I say it, because it is a separate philosophy, but there's a certain humanism going on in the stories of Middle-earth that I find interesting, because no matter how devoutly Roman Catholic Professor Tolkien was, he decided to create a world and a mythology without, you know, much of the mechanics of any religion or any single divinity operating within the secondary world. All the characters within it therefore have to take care of themselves. They have to take care of their own problems. They have to take care of each other. And they do. And I find the roots of humanism are in the roots of these stories in Middle-earth in a certain interesting way. But yes, I'm in total agreement with that. But, you know, what is it that takes storytelling and it becomes modern mythology, which is like, you know, 80 years, 8-0, the big 8-0, and we've got The Hobbit here celebrating its 80th publication anniversary since it first appeared in print.
Oh man.
That's
But
nuts.
I just have to say that I strongly believe that this is a true story.
Really?
I do. And a lot of people think
Really?
that I'm a little crazy about that.
No.
So then, like, the magicians on Sci-Fi right now had
Yeah.
this, like, book that he loves since childhood about Fillory. And then they find out that Fillory was a real place, and it's just a lot of people on Earth they're not tuned in enough to be
They're
open
shifted
to, like,
outside of it
yeah.
to see
so
it. Right.
I like to really believe that this is a real thing, and it's not just a
Yeah.
story, but it exists somewhere.
There was some of the conceit in Professor Tolkien himself that he was trying to transcribe into our common tongue what he found as these old histories of this pre-industrial, you know, pre-Iron Age world. It's like, you know, I just love that. I love that conceit.
It just
you
gives
know.
me hope to know that there's hobbits somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find them.
Yeah.
And live amongst them.
Yeah, I mean, see, if you were reading this in their world, you would never read certain names of the months that are analogous to our 12-month Gregorian calendar. You would read Hobbit months or other names of months.
elven months.
If it was
Or you would read
Adunaic,
books about us.
Yes, yeah.
There would be a book about this live stream.
Oh, now that would be weird.
Oh my god. Oh
That
my
would be weird.
god.
And
Everyone
then
says
Hannah,
hi, Chelsea.
somebody's
the
going to
awkward
transcribe.
teenager,
Yeah.
screamed.
I
like
know
that.
2 friends.
Hi, everybody saying hi to me. And
Kay says I know 2 friends who are going to Georgia this weekend to see Jim Henson's exhibit. Oh, cool.
ooh, what exhibit is that?
I want to go to that too, and I have to look that up.
Yeah.
I want to go.
I want to go too.
And then get a college tour out of the way.
There you go.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What schools do you want to see in Georgia?
Just the Savannah Arts
Oh, okay.
College. I don't know though, cause like I don't really want to leave Los
What about Cal
Angeles.
Arts?
Yeah, I looked at Cal Arts. It's more for like animation film.
There is that.
Yes,
Which is funny though.
super cool.
But Tim Burton came out of there.
Yes, he did.
That's true.
Yep, and
And
a lot
John
of
Lasseter.
Yes, he
correct?
did.
John
Yes,
Lasseter,
he
and
did.
a lot of animators who worked
Yeah.
on the Black Cauldron for Disney.
Oh, Gurgi.
Yes,
Nerd.
all right.
Love
What's
the Black-
making me like get all like nerd crazy is that the
Nerd.
Black Cauldron is something we can talk about in relation to Tolkien. All right. Lloyd Alexander wrote all these books, the Chronicles of Prydain, and all 5 of them, not a portion of them, but all of them were available to a studio who would pay the rights, pay for the licensing to the estate, and therefore make movies out of them. When Disney got their hands on it, it had been in development for all the better part of a decade, and they decided to condense the first 2.5 books out of 5. One was called the Book of 3, and the other one was called the Black Cauldron, and they blended them together, and what we ended up with was, you know, the controversial PG-rated Black Cauldron movie. And then never to be touched again until a few months ago when all the trade publications, Hollywood Reporter and Daily Variety, reported Disney as a studio has renewed their interest in these rights, and they've got all 5 books all in a row, and they can make them into whatever they want, and they will. Live action or an anthology series, like MTV Networks has now brought back a new season of Shannara Chronicles. Guess what? In the Tolkien universe, the Silmarillion and other related books have not ever had the rights released or had the rights available. That's why there's
I'm okay
never
with that.
been a Silmarillion movie.
There doesn't need to be a Silmarillion
Yes,
movie.
there does.
In the
I'm sorry.
Oh, see, she wants to make it
I'm
in the
aggressive.
future.
I'm very aggressive over that.
I mean, it could be a documentary. It's just,
It could be. That would be an
it's
interesting
a history
approach.
book. Like
Yes.
that's literally what it is.
It could be an interesting history book. Now, I would like to see the Silmarillion tackled as an anthology, a broadly reaching anthology TV series, because there's so many major
Somebody,
components.
I can't see the beginning of the chat thing. It said somebody recommended Outlander. Oh my word! I started watching it. My husband joined me, and now he won't stop using a Scottish accent. I'm
Uh-oh.
wearing my Outlander shirt today. I don't know if that's what started it.
Oh,
I
yes.
was like, it's a Sassenach thing, but I just,
Oh gosh, Outlander fans.
yes, absolutely.
Outlander fans, watch out.
Yes,
So
that is another
if
show
the
I
beginning
have
of
to
that
get
was
into.
that I'm the one that recommended that to you, awesome.
Yay?
I'm so glad you enjoy it.
Oh, I hope
And
so.
I'm jealous of your husband having a decent Scottish accent.
At least it's not Mel Gibson.
Cool,
Yeah.
that's great. The only Scottish I can do is a little bit of that.
Yeah.
That's great. That's it.
That's better than I can
You
do. I
sound
got
like Billy
nothing.
Connolly.
I do.
yeah.
A little.
Does he not?
Yeah.
I love Billy Connolly.
I do
He's
too.
awesome. He's awesome. Okay.
Billy Connolly did the voice of Nessie in that Disney short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the best Disney short.
That's the best one.
That's the best one, in my opinion, at least.
Absolutely.
Which
completely
one?
agree.
What Disney
and then,
short is
and then
that?
John Henry is my second favorite.
Nessie?
Oh, yeah, that
What do you
one's
mean,
good.
like the Loch Ness Monster?
Yeah.
Really?
It's cute.
It's a really cute little Scottish short.
I
that they
like
have.
the
Really?
Russian one.
You
With
can
the
watch it on
matches.
Netflix if you have Netflix.
One of my other favorite Disney shorts is Lava. I just
that
love
one's good.
Lava.
That-
It-
I
Yeah.
cried happy
I do-
tears of how sweet that
I
was.
get so misty-eyed. I'm such a sucker for the romance of that. Anyways, hello from Southeast Pennsylvania. Hello, my dear. Hello.
The
Good to
one
have you
with the
guys.
little match
There's J.
girl
Anthony
makes me
Guajardo.
cry.
Hello from Texas.
Oh, that's cool. It says
Hello.
puppets on exhibit. The Henson
Caroline?
thing.
Yeah,
Kermit!
that's the one
I
in
was
Georgia.
literally just showing him pictures of
I want to know
Kermit.
if there's labyrinth puppets on exhibit.
If there's, oh my gosh.
Like Sir Didymus? Obviously not
Pluto?
Sir Didymus, but his ride, his noble steed.
Ambrosius.
Pluto as
Yeah.
Ambrosius.
Pluto, yeah.
What about
Hog-
Dragon Con?
Hoggle?
Hoggle. I saw Hoggle was in like the Denver airport somewhere in a box, and it was just like deteriorating, just falling apart, the poor thing. But it had been sitting there for a while. I think it got rescued and brought back to the studios. We're only a couple blocks away.
Yeah,
Where we
down
are
there.
here, we're at Meltdown Comics here in the heart of Hollywood, and down there on La Brea and is it La Brea and DeLongpre,
Yeah.
right there at the corner, the classic Jim Henson Studios.
Which used to be Charlie Chaplin's studio, so the
Yep.
outside of it has Kermit dressed like Charlie Chaplin.
Mm-hmm.
Adorable.
Yeah, it's super cool. And for a long period of time, Herb Alpert had A&M Records, had their offices there. When it wasn't a studio, it was actually A&M. They
Well,
had their
that's
offices there for a while.
We Are the World was recorded there in the recording studio.
That's right. Yes, it
Yeah.
was. Ah, yeah, it's all
And-
right there.
And Motley Crue did Girls, Girls, Girls there.
Yep, right across, because, there's a stripper bar right across the street
That
from,
says
yeah.
Girls, Girls, Girls.
That's right there,
outside.
across the,
Seventh
yeah.
Veil.
There you go.
Stripper bars like everywhere.
Yeah, well, we're on Sunset Boulevard, so there's tons of them all around. It's like, and there's only one head shop left. Only that one, like a few doors down. It's the last head shop left on Sunset Boulevard. They've all closed down, surprisingly enough. But there's a vape parlor down there. One of the other more interesting things, another block down here from where we are on Sunset Boulevard, I don't know why I'm distracted by this, but it's really interesting. It used to be a bar called Ye Coach and Horses. It has now been rebranded and renamed the Pikey as a British, very specific, like British pub, and it's like an eatery. They've got a nice gastropub menu. Order some food off the menu, lots of cocktails. But what it was most famous for throughout the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and then on into the 60s and 70s, Ye Coach and Horses
we
was
die?
just a dirty little hole-in-the-wall bar.
I think so.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's just adjusting it.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah, there we go.
Alfred Hitchcock would take his stars and starlets after a very busy day of filming, like Tippi Hedren, all in a panic and in a sweat because she'd been dodging fake birds all day, being attacked. So to calm her down, Hitchcock would take Tippi Hedren and the camera people and the actors, and they'd go have cocktails at the Coach and Horses. And that happened in the 50s and 60s. And then in the 80s, a young lad named Quentin Tarantino would take a napkin.
that?
He took a cocktail napkin.
Dang,
He
I've
opened
never
it up,
heard
and
that
he
is.
wrote down the names Mr. White, Mr. Pink, Mr. Yellow, and he was drafting these crazy characters that would become his laundry list of characters in Reservoir Dogs that made him a star. And it's all right there. There's a lot of Hollywood history at this little bar right down the block from us. And it happens to be adjacent to the Samuel French bookstore, where all the scripts and plays and all the Hollywood books and the even the directories of agents, talent agents, and all commercial agents, they're all listed there at the Samuel French bookstore. So we're in the heart of Hollywood. It's all right here, guys. It's the coolest
What did
place.
he say about Dragon Con?
You want to see what was that Dragon Con?
Oh, have you
Yes.
got some uploaded pictures of Dragon Con?
See?
I have one picture, but you might like this clip.
Okay, Justin is in the control room. Pay no attention to that little man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
They're showing Labyrinth, the exhibit.
Oh, cool.
Photos from Dragon Con.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Is that that is from The Storyteller. Is that the doggy from Jim Henson's The Storyteller? Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I forgot his name, but I recognize him. Wow.
It's adorable.
Oh my gosh, that was actually one of the Jim Henson puppets from The Storyteller, which originally starred John Hurt in the series, one of my favorite actors. In the Greek mythology version of The Storyteller, John Hurt was replaced by Michael Gambon, who would later become Dumbledore. Michael Gambon, also tied to the Jim Henson universe, in case you didn't know it. Yes?
I did not know that.
Now you knew it.
No.
The Storyteller.
Now,
That's so
now
cool.
I'm wiser. Thank
That is
you.
so cool. Yes, I
I'm
am full of
wiser now.
encyclopedic crazy knowledge. Oh my gosh, it's
The
nuts.
things that your brain are filled with always never ceases to amaze.
Jim Henson's
Never
The
ceases.
Storyteller got republished and relaunched by Archaea Comics just late last year. Really great title. You should check it out. It was a monthly series that brought some love to the hearts of Jim Henson fans everywhere. And of course, they're currently publishing The Dark Crystal. There was a Dark Crystal sequel movie. It was called The Power of the Dark Crystal. It was in development hell for years. It got reversed and then it put forward. And they even hired a director, the guy who did Samurai Jack. Genndy Tartakovsky, the guy who created Dexter's Lab. Yeah, dude. And the Clone Wars animated miniseries. He was going to direct The Power of the Dark Crystal, but then he stepped aside and didn't do the job. And the script has now been published by Archaea Comic Books. It's the coolest
me
thing in the
I have,
fantasy world right now. It's
Thousands
the
of
coolest.
stuff to do, but after college, hit me up. Or after I graduate, I should say.
You're gonna have to. All right, I'm willing to see what you bring to the student films that you're gonna do, because you're gonna test your mettle. You're gonna test your mettle on these student films, so that we can trust you to give you the Silmarillion as a possible future project.
Dang.
That's gonna be her.
I'm feeling
future
the
project.
flames.
No
I'm
pressure.
feeling the
I actually
flames.
have
No
to run
pressure.
out of here.
No.
I just
No
wanted to
pressure.
stop in and say hi. I'll be back next week,
Oh, you wanna
co-hosting with Cliff.
I'm glad you're here. Yes, you're gonna come in
Yep.
anytime.
Yes, happy
Chelsea
birthday
Schwartz,
once
ladies and
again.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Chelsea Schwartz,
and
happy
the second
birthday.
thing before I go that I want to say is that she has amazing glitter in her hair, and I don't think you can see
yeah.
it in this video. And you need
She's
to
glowing.
appreciate the glitter
Glowing
that is
glittery.
happening. All
I
of it.
look.
Was the dog's
really
name
white.
Rufus? All right, Caroline, you might be right. Yes, Rufus. I think that might be right.
I'll see you guys next week.
Bye, Chelsea. Good to see you, hon. Cheers. All right, Justin, come on back here and have one of these delicious. We've decided that we will allow you to have a homemade
We've forgiven you.
pumpkin spice cookie. So good. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. So good.
Bilbo's birthday like?
Come here
it
and
was
I'll tell you
nice.
what Bilbo's birthday was like. Come here and have some cookies. Come here.
It was nice. We saw very familiar faces, and I brought one of my friends from school
You did?
that knew nothing about Tolkien. Nothing whatever.
Did they have a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he had a good time. He was the one who smashed the egg over your head along with Maddie, the blonde girl. Yeah. And I told him not to. I was like, please don't. And then they were like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, don't do
Is
that.
he in that video with you? The little skinny kid with the blue t-shirt? With the short hair?
Who?
The video we did for Sala, for his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Is that him?
No.
He didn't crack the egg on my head. Someone needs to explain what happened at the Bilbo Baggins
Yeah.
birthday picnic. And I'm here
he
stuffing my
did.
face.
The
Okay.
kid with the green shirt with the glasses, curly hair, kind of looks like a satyr.
All right, yeah, okay.
Goatee.
Okay. This is good. This is delicious. Letitia, I love your baking. These are the most delicious cookies. Watch out. I love these. They're just so good. I'm eating them all right now.
No.
They're so good.
No.
All right. There were a lot of people, a lot of friends, and a lot of Lord of the Rings fans, and they all gathered here in Los Angeles. We had our annual event that we do every year. That's why it's called an annual event. Not to put too fine a point on it, but we were at Griffith Park, way up there in the Mineral Wells picnic area, and we were joined by wonderful costume fans. People brought homemade cakes. There was a cake decorating contest. There was
one
a
of
trivia
Balin's
contest.
tomb.
So fun. Oh my gosh, there were like little Mount Doom chocolate volcano cupcakes that had like red lava coming out of the chocolate volcano. Delicious desserts, potluck food all day. People brought ribs, fried chicken.
Wait, somebody brought ribs?
There were racks and racks of ribs. Delicious. There was
What?
banana bread, homemade lembas bread,
was
shortbread
good.
recipes.
That
My
was
friend,
good.
my friend Kay, she's from London. She made a homemade apple cobbler from London, original British recipe. So we had all the hobbity goodness and all the hobbity food. Everybody really enjoyed this picnic, and it attracted the attention of lots of wonderful people. Last year, or was it the year before?
Yeah, it was 2015, so 2 years.
2 years ago was when LA Weekly listed our event as one of the top 10 things to do in Los Angeles this weekend. And we
It
got
was
mobbed.
nuts.
We went from...
It was-
Tell them all about it.
Okay,
It's insane how many people were there.
It was crazy, but, you know...
my gosh, it was funny. Well,
you know,
we went from 60
That's all I could say.
at a 0. We went from about 60 to 65 guests up to 600, 650 people. That's how mobbed we got at this picnic. So
And people brought kegs, obvious kegs of booze.
it was really fun, though. It was a really great party.
But that one guy
Huh.
with, I forget, the keyboard, that was cool. That guy was cool. He had like a keyboard and he was playing the Riders of Rohan. And
Yep.
then I remember somebody
Yep.
came dressed up as Hagrid, and I think Mad Eye Moody as well. But
That was really fun. That was a fun.
that
and
was
you know
funny.
What?
It
So,
was fun, just crowded.
We had a
lot.
big, beautiful. Nobody. Cavett told the cake I was upset. What's that? I don't know what
Catapulted? Is he trying?
Catapult? I don't know what you mean by that. But hey, it was a really fun
the
picnic.
Nazgul, are you trying to say catapulted? I know that's not. I know that's not your name. It's just an inside joke.
Every year, somebody who was involved in the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit films, somebody shows up, and our friend William Kircher, who is the wonderful, talented actor who played Biffer,
The guy with the hat stuck in his head.
he was there to visit with a lot of our lovely friends there. It was a great weekend event, but I had to leave early because I had to run down and do a wedding. I was performing a wedding down in Long Beach later that evening.
Which is crazy.
Are you familiar with the Witcher series? Who's that?
The Witcher.
No, Mr. J. Anthony Guajardo III. Are you familiar with the Witcher series? I'm afraid I'm not, but maybe I should. Maybe I should check it out. Bumped into Jed Bro. So something Hobbit Day in Wellington was lit, sir.
Lit.
Bumped into Jed Brophy having coffee on Cuba Street. Dan Falconer introduced the Fellowship of the Ring at the Roxy Cinema. Did a night tour of Weta, and my mate bumped into Richard Taylor on the plane back to Auckland. The Gandalf guitar guy was cool from a couple years back. He was.
Yeah, he was nice.
Is that Strider-like dude? Oh, yes. Yeah,
I wonder
yes.
who that could be.
Who is Strider-like dude? Who is that?
Kyle.
Is that Kyle? Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Kyle. How are you, dude?
Our resident actual Boromir.
And I actually...
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cave troll thing. No,
yeah.
him and I were joking since Kathy was trying to find.
Oh, cave trolled.
Yeah.
Cave trolled.
We were joking because she was trying to find a knife to cut the cake with. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, there's a knife over there. And then he's like, oh, we should just cave troll it. And,
Nah.
and I was like,
funny.
yeah.
That's funny.
And he goes, yeah, this is where I go. They have a cave troll.
Did you enjoy the experience
It was a lot of fun.
at the picnic? Yeah?
There was this little baby there. I forget his name. But his parents were really nice. We all sat around him.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I love babies.
There were some friends there who had newborns because the lady had been there before and she was full preggers,
Yeah.
working with that bun in the oven, and then all of a sudden now next year in September she's got like a bouncing bumble of joy in her arms. It was so
Yeah.
sweet. Those kids were really, really
He was so
cute.
cute.
Those kids were really cute kids. Hey, the hotline is open. The show is still on live. 530-64-FRODO. Willie, oh, wow. How about that? Yay. Wasn't it nice to have a picture taken with William Kircher?
C.
And
That's
wasn't
my
it...
answer. C.
See, wait. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I have been writing like original wedding ceremonies for people. The video game, The Witcher.
I've never heard of that before.
Geralt of Rivia, main character. Also, there's a book series that it's based on. It's a major free roam fantasy game. Dude, that sounds actually kind of fun.
I literally can't see what any of that says. I don't even have my glasses.
You don't have your glasses? What's your glasses, girlfriend?
I don't know.
What's your glasses, squirrel friend?
I can be Secret Service though. Burt Macklin, FBI. I really hope that at least somebody got my reference.
That's cute. That's funny.
Did
That's
you get
funny.
it? Burt Macklin, FBI.
Janessa Penner. I definitely did the math of how long I would have to drive to make the Baggins birthday bash. Just wasn't meant to be this year. Sorry, Janessa. I know it was a good old drive. It was, but hey.
It would have been worth it. I'm kidding.
At least we didn't get shut down by the park ranger like we did.
that's always a plus.
2 years.
It is always a
they
plus.
tried so hard. But all right. So we're here live during Torn Tuesday. If you want to be part of the show, send us a message. Call us live. 530-64-FRODO. Secret Service Hannah, you got a hashtag.
Oh dear,
All right.
yeah.
Hey,
there we
what
go.
about Peter Jackson
Secret
for
Service.
Star Wars 9? Yeah? Okay, yes, I'm down. I'm
Peter,
down.
if you need somebody to work with you, like a coffee woman, coffee man, whatever,
No, you
I
should
will
not
put
be.
out my address and my number on social media. For you, Peter, I love you.
Just send a direct message
I'll
to
do it.
his talent agent. His agent.
Hey, I'm just showing dedication here.
Frodo. Hello, Dave Gentry. Good to see you. You know what? I am totally cool with Peter Jackson getting a chance to step inside the world of Star Wars. If he's not going to do one of the Skywalker series, which would be 7, 8, 9, because what now? We've got J.J. Abrams who's going to come and direct Episode 9 now, right?
Oh,
so that's all set. Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. But there's others. There's other offshoots. Maybe it'd be interesting if Peter Jackson got the chance to do the Boba Fett origin story, like like a young Boba Fett movie.
Sarlacc pit.
Oh, that'd be a Sarlacc pit. Yes, Peter would love to have a Sarlacc pit in one of his movies.
Oh yes, he would.
Yes, he would.
You know, Carrot Guy goes in there. He makes a cameo as Carrot Man from Brie. He goes in,
bites the carrot and falls right into the Sarlacc pit.
He's just like, oh man, gee, it's such a great day. That's what happens. My voice is going.
It is. What happened?
Well, you see, I was running around today because I had to get a bunch of stuff done for another thing I'm doing, and I had to film, and I was like, oh gee, man, I gotta do this because it's due on Thursday. And I'm like, all right. So I was directing people around. I'm like, you, come here, hold my drink. I'm just kidding. I only did that to my friend Giovanni just because I can. I can bully him.
Look, if you want to get an entry-level position working on a Peter Jackson film, you don't want to be the coffee-fetching girl. You want to be...
Hey, I'm just saying.
You want to be script supervisor or some really awesome job
I'm
like
17.
that. There's time to start. Always time to start.
He's going to look at me and he's going to go, nah, dude.
Good night, Brittany. Yes, the cookies are super delicious.
Farewell.
I want to try them. Brittany, you may have one in spirit. They're delicious.
Yeah.
Anyway, good night.
Just
Happy
like a
80th
mental
birthday.
cookie, just-
Happy 80th birthday, Bilbo. The one and only,
You're
the
old,
Hobbit. Happy
Bilbo.
80th birthday. Yes, he's old.
He's old,
So, do you have a private birthday message?
Huh?
Do you have a special birthday message for 80 years of the Hobbit? What would you say?
Okay. Like to the book if it was a person?
Yeah. What would you say? Like, congratulations on 80 years? Or, you know?
I would probably go into detail. Not right now. I mean, unless people wanted me to. But I'd go into detail and be like, basically, hey, look, you changed my life for the better. And I'm here because, you know.
Let's imagine Tolkien.
Here.
What if J.R.R. Tolkien had written The Hobbit when he was a teenager? Like Aragon was written when that boy was a teenager, right? Mm-hmm. And 80 years later, Tolkien is nearly 100 years old, and you could talk to him and say, "Hey, here you have, the birthday, this anniversary of The Hobbit 80 years later it's tremendous." What would you say to Professor Tolkien?
Okay, one, I'd probably give him a heart attack because I would cry really, really hard at first. Like, okay, the thing is, like, if I met Tolkien and also Peter Jackson as well, because Peter was the one, well, Peter, Fran, Philippa, and Richard, like, all four of them, if they were combined into one person, I'm talking about them as if they were, like, one person.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they're the ones who got me to be what I want to be, and like so focused.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
With Tolkien, I'd probably cry and be like, I'm still here. Like here. And I know what I want to do. And I found something that I can go to because of you. You shaped my creativity. You shaped me as a person to like a degree. I mean, like not, as is everybody, like one-dimensional, three-dimensional person, Mm-hmm. You shaped me, my ideals. Yeah, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm well, all that jazz, because of you.
I dig it.
Yeah, that was not a good explanation, but basically I would say that and cry, and then he would probably go, "Oh, just get away from me." I'm not gonna lie, he would probably be like,
Vicky says, "I approve of your dedication, Hannah. Aim for assistant director position."
Yes.
That's
and
excellent.
Then I'll go, "Hi." I'd probably be scared, though.
You
I'm
are
not gonna
so
lie.
funny.
No, I'm Hannah.
Yes, the Doctor, number 10, the 10th Doctor. We love the Battle of
I love
Evermore.
the 10th.
I'm very, very familiar with all the many references to Lord of the Rings that are in all Led Zeppelin music. Lots of great. And matter of fact, as a filmmaker, when we made our documentary for Ringers, Lord of the Fans, we licensed Led Zeppelin, Ramble On, and we put it in our movie, and it's in the opening title sequence. Well, not in the home video version. We didn't get that license. They only let us have the festival version. So when you see our film on a screen projected at a festival, then we get to play the original one with Ramble On.
Well, here's a life hack. When you're doing that, just go to your computer or your phone.
Life hack.
And then type in, well, okay, good. My phone isn't upside down. Led Zeppelin, Ramble On, unpause it, and just go. It's fine. Life hack right there. That or just pirate the movie. I mean, I'm just kidding. Don't pirate movies.
No,
don't,
wait till we re-release it.
Don't
My
pirate
gosh.
movies. I'm not encouraging.
Well,
okay. Separate question. If you pirated a movie in the Caribbean, would that make you a pirate of the Caribbean? But if you did it with a group of friends, would you be the pirates of the Caribbean? These are pressing questions.
Oh my gosh, they are pressing questions.
They're pressing questions. Like, does Lightning McQueen have car insurance or life insurance? No one knows.
Oh my gosh, does Lightning McQueen have car insurance or life insurance?
No one knows. Does Mike Wazowski wink or does he blink?
Oh my gosh,
I don't know.
Deep cuts with the Disney fans here. Oh my god. All right, what's happening? What just happened? Okay.
I have no clue. This
Lobo.
is what I think about.
Excellent. That, my friend, is
when
the
I'm
consequence
spacing
of
out.
spacing out. Listen, he says, that, my friend, is the consequence of maturity and experience. In some way, Tolkien focused on becoming a professor, a professional reader, before he became a writer. That's something that Paulini doesn't have. Well said, Lobo. Well said. Appreciate that. You're with us live on Twitter Live, Facebook Live, Ustream Live, and on the onering.net/live. And I don't know if we're on Periscope, but we probably are on. We had been on Instagram Live as well. We've been broadcasting on so many live streams, but we're not shutting down the show just yet. We have a special closer. We have a special closing to the show before we even get near the ending. So, Justin, whatever you do, do not stop the stream, okay? I'm going to send him a message right now, and I'm going to just really
I can just yell.
There's a reason why. I'm telling you, don't shut the stream down, all right? What?
He says 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah. We got until like 7.
But she has to do all the talking, and you can only talk when she asks you a question.
No.
No,
You're
that's...
putting me in the spotlight, no.
She's trying to train you.
Ah!
The little, pay no attention to that little man behind the curtain.
That was a scratchy yell. Ugh.
Are you all right? Oh, look, Dave Gentry's making a Dune joke. The spice must flow.
The spice.
The spice must flow.
Spicy boy. Am I right?
What?
I don't know.
What are you...
I'm just trying to be funny.
Okay, so 80 years later, The Hobbit is 80 years old. It is something that has moved from a great piece of 20th century literature to still being a 21st century, like, cultural touchstone for what fantasy can do and the world that it introduces us to. Does Hannah need some Gollum juice?
Yeah, I need
Janessa?
Gollum juice.
Yes, you do. You do.
I do. Yeah. We just both look at each other.
I'm trying to stay on topic. So if Justin, if you want me to be silent, then I'll let her try to stay on topic.
Oh, no.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're putting me on the spotlight.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah.
This is gonna be disappointing. Okay, so I can't stop laughing. I look over, you're just like Dom DeLuise and...
I'm not. I love. Oh, thank you. I'll take it. I'll take that compliment. I mean, to be considered to the great comedic legend of Mr. DeLuise, yeah, it's fantastic. But no, I'm going to sit here and chill and let you talk about Tolkien for a minute.
Oh dear. Okay. So, I'm getting nervous now. You guys put me on the
Justin
spot.
wants to play this game, so that's what we're doing. No. Okay, seriously. Hannah, what's your favorite character from The Lord of the Rings and why? Let's start with the basics.
Okay.
An excellent question.
Well, throughout the years, it has changed from when I began to get into Tolkien when I was about 9 up until, I want to say 15. My favorite character was Peregrine Took because I felt like he related to myself. And also, like, I had a cousin that was like a Mary to me who, you know, he still is, but he's in college, so, you know. But I related to him in that sort of a sense, and, like, you know, I was like, oh yeah, our personalities kind of match, and plus I thought he was kind of attractive. But, yeah. I would have to say my favorite Lord of the Rings character.
Out with it.
I don't know, because I have two. I like Eowyn and I like Aragorn.
Cool.
Quite a
Oh, yeah.
bit.
Yeah, they're great
Yeah.
characters.
But I would have to say, if we're talking about Fellowship, probably Aragorn, because now I see myself relating to him. You know? And then also with Eowyn as well. Plus, she's just a strong woman, and she's awesome. And, you know, I mean, I like Galadriel as well, but I like Eowyn just maybe a little bit more. Just a tiny bit more. But if we're talking about Hobbit, I'd probably have to go with Thorin or Bilbo or both, because Bilbo is me, but reincarnated. Hi! I wonder who we have here.
Oh, wait!
So late.
Who's crashing our show now?
Oh,
Show Crasher
yeah.
number 2. Surprise, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Torn Tuesday.
Hey!
Hey, who's that? It's William Kircher, our friend.
Hi.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, Biffer of the line of Durin, one of the distant cousins of Thorin Oakenshield, played by the very capable and eminently funny William Kircher. Now be funny.
All right.
That'd be funny.
That was funny.
Yes, it was. How good a time was that picnic this weekend? Wasn't that fun?
That was absolute fantastic. And I'm sorry I'm so late, but
No, we've got to have.
traffic
No,
was horrendous.
we still got plenty of time. We've got 25 minutes to enjoy the show.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh, good. I loved that picnic. It was absolutely fun as heck. And I missed it last year, but the year before, I was there as well, and it's always just amazing. It's, you know, it's such a lovely feeling. You know, really friendly, lovely people, lovely food.
Definitely the lovely food.
The food was great.
Yeah.
There's too much of it.
You can never have not too much. As Billy Idol used to say on his MTV promos, too much is never enough. That's
Well-
what Billy Idol used to say. Hey, when it comes to a Hobbit picnic, you better overstuff my gullet. There better be a lot of food.
That's the point. You're right.
That's
You're
that
absolutely
bloody
right.
point.
I
Speaking
agree.
of,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have Hannah's mom, Letitia, made pumpkin spice cookies,
Yum.
homemade and yummy.
All right. Well, I have to try one of these.
Aren't they tasty?
Maybe I'll have a
Or
little
maybe
bit.
2.
Yeah, there's napkins
3,
right there too.
4.
Oh, good. We got
boy.
napkins. Oh my
Invisible
gosh.
5th one.
Yeah, watch out. I've been eating them all day.
So how's the
It's
show
amazing.
been going?
We've had a very interesting show
Oh, they're
talking about
soft.
the 80th anniversary of The Hobbit. Just happened. The 80th anniversary.
Yum.
Aren't those good?
Good.
I told you, yeah. I've been having
You want a
second,
bite?
second lunch.
Here. Have a bite. See what you think.
So, and everyone says, hello, Mr. Kircher. Hi, William.
Hi.
Everyone says hi in the live chat. Hey, guys, if you want to ask a question, you want to call in 530-64 FRODO.
Oh, those are really good.
I know. Finish,
I'm gonna.
Yep, see,
finish what you started, human. There you go.
Oh, great.
I know. Watch out. Watch out. My favorite character from Lord of the Rings, maybe Bill the Pony. He's such a sweet character. Oh, look at that.
You can come on camera, you know.
Yeah, Letitia. Oh my gosh, how sweet.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. It's like we're running an actual proper studio where people are actually, you know, busy doing cool things behind the scenes. No, I love so many different characters from The Lord of the Rings. My favorite Hobbit character was always Gandalf. Gandalf came into The Hobbit and set the tone of the adventure and pulled Bilbo out of his place of comfort and sent him off on this crazy journey. And he was always, he had this slight wisecracking little Bilbo, I'm having a laugh at your expense this whole time kind of thing that Gandalf was doing.
He did.
And I loved that. I loved that in the books. And in the Lord of the Rings books, you know, Samwise, it was always Samwise. He was my favorite ultimate character, Sam. It was always Sam. That's me. But that's just me. We were all asking, someone asked in the chat room, who's your favorite character? Now, you read Lord of the Rings when you were...
I did.
Yeah, how old
In
were
the
you?
70s.
17,
I don't want to say. Yeah, young.
We're going to be talking about that.
Very young.
70s, because the Ken Burns documentary series about the Vietnam War is coming out, and we're going to be looking at the 70s, and that was when the new wave of Tolkien fandom hit its height.
It did.
In the
And
70s.
then, as I've told this story before at conventions, but
Yes.
the reason I got into Lord of the Rings was from going to see The Song Remains the Same, which was the Led Zeppelin movie.
Yes.
Because the song Ramble On,
Yeah. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
Right before you got
and
here.
so and also the movie, there's a lot of imagery of that kind of, fantasy in that film.
Mm-hmm.
And so that got me hooked.
Yep.
And it was really popular then.
Yep.
But I think I'd
That's
already
right.
read The Hobbit. I'm not quite sure, actually. Which came first? Whether I read The Lord of the Rings first.
Yeah.
But I just loved it. I loved those books so much.
Yeah.
I just drank them in.
Cool.
Night after night.
Now, this is something that I find interesting. College kids all around the world stopped reading their copy of Catcher in the Rye. They put down their J.D. Salinger, and they stopped talking about Jack Kerouac. All of a sudden, it was Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings. You know?
Then maybe
It
people
was-
started to see
It became the intellectual
well,
wave
yeah,
of kids.
it was like rock and roll,
Yeah.
literature. I mean, it really was. It was
Yeah.
rock and roll.
it was sword and sorcery,
It was.
and the kids at that time were embracing the ecological.
I've got a
sentiments in the
question for
books.
you then, Cliff.
Yeah.
Was that, in the whole world of sword and sorcery and Dungeons and Dragons and all of that, did the Lord of the Rings give birth to that genre?
It did.
Was
It
there
sure
anything before Lord of the Rings that actually went into that?
Dungeons and Dragons is famous for developing an imagination game system where you encounter a monster or defeat the monster and then get a nice treasure or surprise in the room or in the dungeon. And when The Hobbit and Thorin and company went down into that troll's treasure hoard after the 3 trolls were turned to stone, that was the very first time in 20th century literature that very recognizable idiom, which is now an overused trope, of reward for risk and reward in adventuring. Defeat the big monster, then go into their treasure pile and see what you got after you defeated them.
Yeah.
And that is a staple of Dungeons and Dragons storytelling and game design, but that staple and that actual paradigm began in 1930 when The Hobbit was first published.
Amazing.
It really was, literally.
Yeah.
And then Dungeons & Dragons gets its fire and its imagination from letting you be in a breathable imaginary world as you play, where you can make up your own mind about where you want to walk around the walls and what buttons do you want to push on the booby trap. Do I really want to dig and open up that chest? Is there a poison cloud inside, or is there a glowing elven sword that will help me on my next level of the adventure? And you get to do, I love that stuff. But Tolkien started it all, and his success in the publishing world made the bookshelves move over, and all the retailers started to open up the new science fiction and fantasy book section of the bookstores. It hadn't happened until the 60s and 70s when this phenomenon became like it's not a niche market anymore. It became the multi-million-dollar cash cow for the publishing world at that time when you and all the kids were absorbing it in the 70s. Right, so, we're going to be watching this Ken Burns documentary about the Vietnam era. Watch it with great interest, because I guarantee you there will be some references to the cultural wave in America when the American youth culture embraced Tolkien like never before.
And not just America.
And
He hastened to say,
Worldwide.
But
New Zealand.
But you weren't involved in the Vietnam conflict in New Zealand. Thank God.
We were a bit.
You were a bit,
oh,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We sent some guys to Vietnam.
You sent some guys too? Wow.
Oh, hell yeah.
You guys have stories of bravery that I don't even know.
Not as many as you, of course. I mean, it wasn't, but it was a huge deal in our culture.
Because it was right next door to you.
That's right, and also,
Wow.
we were in the same boat. We had young guys going off there.
Yeah. Conscripted when they didn't want to be. Yeah.
Well, I'm probably. They were signed up. They probably were.
Yeah.
I don't think they were. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe they were. It's so long ago, I can't remember. Well, of course, I was.
We called
I was
it
hardly
a draft.
born.
Yeah, we called it a draft in America.
I think we had the draft too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that Julie Taymor film, Across the Universe, that has all the Beatles songs in it? There's some really, really cool anti-Vietnam stuff going on in the imagery and the use of those Beatles songs in that movie. It's like, a cultural moment in time. So, yeah, Tolkien and the embrace of Tolkien and the youth culture, it gave all that wide wave to sword and sorcery that followed after that.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, it became cheesy fantasy movies
Yeah.
in the 80s.
But
That's
little
what
did
that was
they
all about.
know what rose from that.
Yeah. Well, that led us to where we are now. Being like all in love with 80s everything. Why do you think Stranger Things is such a huge thing right now?
And fashion as well. I mean, I'm not one for fashion, but from what I've seen, a lot of 80s stuff is coming back in fashion.
Yeah, bits and pieces. That's always
It
the
is.
way, though, with fashion. It
Yeah.
always goes in waves.
Yeah.
And then, and as time goes on, different times borrow from, earlier times and are
Really?
influenced by, and absolutely.
I wonder. I was going to say that in Middle Earth, I don't think the fashion flowed like a pendulum the way it does in our world. I get
Maybe
the feeling
in
that
royalty.
Galadriel was wearing like very similar outfits 7,000 years ago, and the ones that she's wearing in the War of the Ring were pretty much the same fashion that elves had. I can't imagine. Why do I know this? Because when I look at every illustration by Alan Lee or John Howe, and it's from the Silmarillion, the elves are still wearing the same elegant flowing fabrics, and it's like their fashions stayed the same for thousands and thousands
Well,
of
that's
years.
right. But it's timeless. That's part
Timeless.
of the world.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
timeless. Time stands
Yeah.
still.
It does.
In a funny, in a different
in a
kind
weird
of
way.
Yeah.
Especially for elves.
And
Okay.
dwarves?
And
Stop
dwarves.
talking about elves.
Well, no,
Sick of elves.
The dwarves came first, that's right, and they were put back to sleep. If you know your Silmarillion, the dwarves actually did come first. Hey, hi Penny. Welcome back to the chat, everybody. Everybody, welcome to our live chat. If you want to call, text, what does it say right here? It says, we're getting on the hotline. We have a message.
Oh man, do you think the elves ever rub that in? Like, hey, you got put back to sleep, ha. So we were technically
Yeah,
the
of course
first
they do.
ones.
You're very welcome. It's the Dr. 10, and I just wanted to say you all helped to reawaken my love for Tolkien. Glad to help, buddy. Glad to help out. That's awesome. Okay, so, let's talk.
Good.
Let's talk. What
All
are
right,
you
off
most?
you go.
What are you most looking forward to with upcoming fantasy sci-fi films this season? This upcoming big
I don't know,
releases.
you're the expert on that more than me. I just wish I was in them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am in some.
Well-
I'm going to talk about me for a bit. I got a fantastic
Yes.
movie coming out called The Axiom.
That's the one you've been shooting recently, right?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
no, I shot it last year, but
last
I just
year.
got a message a couple of days ago that it's October. The first screening is going to be in October, and
Oh,
it's
cool.
very exciting because it's got incredible beasts.
Ooh.
It's about people going missing in national parks, and it is actually a phenomenon. People go missing in national parks and are never seen again all the time.
Wow.
So that's kind of what our movie is a little bit about. But I won't give any spoilers, but it's going to be a great film.
That sounds cool.
Sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
So I've been busy. It's been
Ooh,
good.
really?
Yeah.
Well, if it's anything at all like Troll Hunters, which is one of my favorite movies. Did you see Troll Hunters?
I did.
Yeah, that's fun. It's like
That
it's
is
like
fun. That is
in
fun.
Norway, where all of a sudden, if you're way deep out in the wilderness, you'll see that there really are trolls.
There are.
out
There's
there.
a fantastic
Beastly trolls.
book that I used to read my kids. It is anybody ever finds this book, it's hilarious. It's called Ulf the Finger Eater.
The finger
The
eater.
Finger Eater, and it's
Ulf.
about a troll. It's
Ah.
it's a local legend. It's about a troll that eats people's fingers.
Oh.
And when his name is Ulf, and when he meets the people, he extends his hand. He goes, "How do you do?" That's the voice I always did for my kids. And when they put their hand out to shake his hand, he'd go. And all the people in that particular area were all missing a finger or two, sometimes two, but mostly they'd never. Once they made the mistake, they never made the mistake twice.
Wow, really?
And then a little girl called, I can't remember, Lundgren, I can't remember.
Lindgren.
Little
It's
girl.
usually Lindgren.
She decided one day she wasn't going to be scared of Ulf the Finger Eater, and she found a caribou horn that had been shed, a caribou horn that had been shed, antler that had been shed, and it looked a bit like a hand. And she put it up her sleeve. And so when she found Ulf, I know it's boring, but
No, not at all. I'm sorry.
when she found Ulf, and Ulf went, "How do you do?" She said, "Oh, how do you do?" And she put her hand out, pretending it was a hand. It wasn't a hand, it was the caribou antler, and Ulf chomped on it, and all his teeth broke off, and he was never, ever the evil troll ever again. He did try to bite people's fingers, but he only had gums, so they'd just laugh at him. Because you go... True story.
That is so awesome.
Ulf the Finger Eater. I've been dying to tell that story for years.
I love that. That is
It's a
so
great
good.
book. It's
That
really
is.
good.
Please make the stories so I can read them, please. You mean, Janessa, this book already exists, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it already exists.
Google it. It might be. I mean, it's a very obscure book. It might be out there. I don't know. ULF, Ulf the Finger Eater.
Ulf the Finger Eater.
It's probably translated.
Hello from Utah. Just finished Salt Lake Comic-Con. Hey, Corbin. Hey, Mr. Corbin McBride. Welcome. How was Salt Lake Comic-Con? I'm sure it was a pretty good event.
Salty.
Excuse me. Martin says, William, what's your favorite place
I've
in New
got
Zealand?
so many of them. You got to go and see. Well, I mean, it's obvious. You got to go and see Hobbiton because it's amazing. But there's Polaris Bridge where we shot the barrel scene. Beautiful, beautiful places. Paradise Valley outside of Queenstown.
I love
amazing,
Queenstown.
amazing.
I love the Queenstown
Queenstown's
area.
fantastic.
With the Remarkables up against that big backdrop. I love it there so much.
Yeah.
I
But
love
I got a lot of favorite places. Wellington, where I've got a house in Wellington, and that's where Peter Jackson's studios are, and the Weta Cave. That's absolutely amazing. And the Trolls, one of my trolls is outside that Weta Cave.
Yes.
Tom?
And do you have some insider's tips for some cool stuff in Wellington? Thank you for that, Martin.
Yeah, go to the Weta Cave tour. It's called Windows on Weta. And it doesn't actually cost a lot, and you get a glimpse of what Weta do. And you actually go through part of the factory or the workshop. It's amazing.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Take a ferry over to Days Bay. A ferry goes from Wellington City right across the harbor to a lovely beach called Days Bay where you can swim at the right time of year.
Yeah.
In
Unless
winter,
it's
right?
winter. Yeah, sure.
Janessa says, William, if you had to share your barrel with one other dwarf, who would you choose?
The smallest. Ari.
Poor Adam. Adam Brown.
I don't know, that's a good question. But yeah, probably the smallest because the barrels didn't have that much room in. And getting in there with Bomber would be problematic.
That was so hilarious. The way that they animated him to just have a barrel around him and the weapons come out and he just spins and spins
Yeah,
and
I know,
spins.
It's
It's hilarious. That was such a funny bit.
Yeah.
And now let me just think. Now, the Hobbit extended edition, the Lord of the Rings extended edition, when you put them all together, side by side by side, somebody look it up for me. What is the total running time of all 6 of the extended versions if you put them all together in hours and minutes? I really want to know how long of a day-long movie marathon would that be to
I'm
get
gonna do that right now.
those. No, hey, give them a minute. They'll do it for us, and they'll tell us in the
you
chat.
gotta Google it. That's not fair. You gotta
Google
get
it. They'll Google it for us.
Are there any fun science museums?
Oh.
I don't know. I'm going there next year for like a month.
Where?
New Zealand.
Awesome.
Oh,
Really? You're going
cool.
to where?
Well, we're going around just in general, more so like the North Island, and then we're spending 18th birthday in the South Island. Trying to get into Paradise, though. But
Okay,
I don't
cool.
know. Maybe.
That's cool. Well, my favorite museum is Te Papa, the National Museum in Wellington.
Yeah, that's worth it.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's really, there's a lot in there, and it's amazing actually.
It's really
Yeah,
cool.
it is
I love
totally
that.
cool.
I love that place. And we actually have a friend at the aquarium down in Christchurch. Yeah, we have a friend. His name's Jeff. Jeff Scott. He comes and chats with us on Facebook
Okay.
sometimes. And he's down there helping run the aquarium exhibits down there in Christchurch. Okay. Hey, what? Are there any fun science museums? Most of the real stuff that you're doing that's fun is like being out in the bush. When you're out there in New Zealand, you're not going to be,
Like bungee
you'll be
jumping.
outdoors doing all these thrilling things. A lot of those thrilling things. Like driving through lots of sheep that block your road. And you can't get where you're going.
They do that.
They literally do. There are flocks of sheep that will block your tiny little access road where you're trying to get somewhere. Can't get where you're going.
Yes.
Way up in Auckland, when you go up to the northern tip up there, and if you go to the western shore, there's a black sand beach.
That's called 90 Mile Beach.
That's beautiful there, man. It is one of my favorite places.
90 Mile Beach, and it is
Yeah.
black sand. And,
Yeah, black
I
sand.
know
It's
it's
black
amazing
sand.
up there. Yeah,
It's really cool.
it is. It gets really hot though. Black sand.
Yeah.
You know when you run on sand and it's hot, you go ooh, ooh ow, ooh, ooh, ow, ow. Well,
Yeah.
black sand is like
black and
really
short.
serious.
It absorbs all the
You
heat.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get and it's iron.
Iron.
Yeah, well, it's,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why it's black. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really weird
So
and
it
cool,
is,
isn't
and
it?
gets very hot. You got to move
Yes.
fast.
Yeah. Te Papa, Tongarewa, and the Great War Museum are great. Yes? Thank you, Estelle Din. Yes, they are. That's good stuff. Caroline says, well, at Dragon Con, I saw a bunch of hobbits and very little dwarves. Okay, because there were some actors who had to cancel at the last minute, didn't they? There were some actors at Atlanta Dragon Con, which just happened 2 weeks ago, and they
yeah.
they had to cancel at the last
Oh.
minute. Hey, Maury. Hey, Cliff. Where can I get that shirt that you're wearing? Oh, thanks, Maury. This is an awesome shirt. This is the shirt from Westeros. If you were in Game of Thrones world, who do you think from Lord of the Rings would come and sit on the Iron Throne? Well, it would be Sauron himself, obviously. He would take over the Iron Throne of Westeros. We don't have these for sale anymore because they were violating somebody's copyright. So
I got a picture of me sitting on that throne.
You do?
I do.
I love it. Where at?
It's on Twitter somewhere.
Really? Oh my gosh. I love it. I love that. I'm a big fan of both Game of Thrones and Middle-earth films as well. 12 hours to watch all extended Lord of the Rings movies. Looking up Hobbit now. Thank you, Anthony. Good call. Extended Lord of the Rings is going to give you a 12-hour run.
That's a long time to be
Well,
sitting watching movies.
The extended Return of the King is already 42 minutes extended. The original theatrical release was 3 hours, 20 minutes. So, it's 4 hours and 2 minutes.
One day they should do
4
the
hours, 2
extended version.
We call that the Unicorn Edition. And yes, we've been dreaming of that ultimate.
Because we've had
ultimate.
this conversations in
Peter,
this
hit
room
me up.
Yes,
about
we have.
that.
Yes, we have.
About how much was filmed that you done that has not been seen. Oh, shh. Sorry.
I know you did. I know you got stuff you can't talk about. No, all right. Are you allowed to say yes or no that you're still under a non-disclosure agreement for some things that were filmed? You're still under an NDA.
Oh, hell yeah.
See? So that means there's some stuff going on that you really can't tell us, right?
There is.
Damn it!
There is.
I love that, but I hate it at the same time.
Go outside, I'll be arrested.
I know, because they're watching. They're watching.
They're everywhere.
What films are you looking forward to this year? Well, I would like to get back to that question. I've got to say the next Star Wars installment. I'm very much looking forward to that, as well as Thor Ragnarok. I can't wait to see that.
And the Axiom.
And the Axiom, which will be released when?
And next year, the Time War.
The Time
the
War.
Axiom, I'm not sure, but I will update you.
Please do.
Yeah.
And come and
Yeah.
update us here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, in fact, if there's a chance, maybe you come along and we do something on the opening.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Should be
I'd
good.
love that.
Should be good. Well, I'll find out if it's good first. Because you never know till you finally
Find
see
out
it.
if it's good
because
before
I
you
haven't
promote it.
seen any of the effects. I haven't seen any. I've stayed away on purpose because I like to see things when they're
Finished.
yeah.
Really? But you do get, is it a frequent thing for an actor to get invited and look at the post-production process? Do you ever get invited to like sit in there with the sound editors and all the weird stuff they do? Not often.
No,
That's not often
no,
a thing, is it?
only if you're doing your ADR, and that's when you get a chance when you do ADR, especially if you've got a sizable role.
Yes.
You get to sit in there with the sound guys, and that's when you get to see pieces of the film. When we did that for The Hobbit,
Yeah.
a lot of the effects weren't finished, so you'd actually be seeing part of the scene, but you'd also part of it would be just green screen still, because they were still working on the effects. But it is a chance to see how the thing is coming together and part of the editing, and and I've got a picture on the Axiom I'm going to show you. Excuse me, just getting my phone out. Chat amongst yourselves.
Oh, yeah, let's chat. Hey, this year for Hobbit Day, me and my husband did the Lord of the Rings extended marathon with all 7 Hobbit meals over the course of the day. Janessa, that sounds really fun, by the way.
That sounds like a romantic date.
That sounds really fun. Anthony Guajardo III says roughly 9 hours for The Hobbit, so a little over 21 hours total for Lord of the Rings and Hobbit extended.
Wow.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
do it.
That beats 12.
That's a full 24-hour.
Yep.
If you add in meal breaks and pee breaks, and having to go outside and get the mail from the mailman and all those other things, walk the dog, yeah, that's a full 24-hour jaunt.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, he's checking something on Axiom, right?
I'm checking only today, because things have just started to happen. I got the first poster image.
See, and now people are talking about the new Star Trek Discovery. Yes, I want to see the first episode of Star Trek Discovery,
Okay,
but
so how do I get
I don't want
this
to pay for a
so
subscription
people
to
can
get it.
see it?
I think you've sent
Can I email it to anybody, or is there anything I can do?
No, well, for Justin, can you mail it to Justin?
I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah, mail it to Justin right now. Maybe
Okay.
Justin can put it in the
Share. I'm sharing it.
Justin at
Oh
theonering.net.
no, it's trying to tweet. It's trying to tweet.
Oh, it's trying to tweet.
Oh, is
Oh,
that
there's
our
Kyle.
buddy
Kyle
from-
says a little over 21 move. Yes, thank you. Nice. Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Boromir.
Well, it's now 7 o'clock, and we're going.
I'll show you guys next time.
You got it,
'cause
but-
it's late.
If you can send it to Justin at theonering.net, maybe he'll
I'm
put it up.
trying to.
I want to say thank you to both of you for, coming in to be part of this fun show today. It's a special anniversary for all Lord of the Rings and Hobbit fans because, we're living in the house that Bilbo built. And if it wasn't for the success, the literary success of this book, look at you disappearing
Yeah,
behind.
there I am. Wait.
Did it again.
There you go.
See, it's a green book behind a green screen.
This
go.
is amazing, this book.
It's
And
really
to be
awesome.
part of something that actually not only changed people's lives because of this book, but to change, be part of something that changed my life because
Yeah.
of this book. It's incredible. And you have to say that about all of us that were in that. It definitely changed our lives
Indeed.
in lots of different ways.
I mean,
Yes,
without Tolkien's work, we wouldn't all be here, in a sense.
Yep, that's true. I wouldn't have
torn-
had the career that I would have had.
Yeah.
Made the documentary film I would have made. I
I
wouldn't have made
would've-
the
I
friends.
wouldn't be sitting here right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So, we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to say my hat is off to you, Professor Tolkien. Thank you very much. Happy anniversary to The Hobbit.
And happy
80 years.
birthday to Bilbo for the other day.
Yes, 80 years young. Happy birthday to our good friend Chelsea Schwartz, who came here earlier to crash our show. She'll be co-hosting with me in a future episode. Happy birthday to Sala Baker, the young lad who played Sauron. And say, he's busy. He's out there filming Deadpool 2 up in Vancouver.
Fantastic.
Working on the show with Ryan Reynolds. Hats off to you, my friends.
Where can they follow you?
Hey, you can follow William Kircher on Twitter at...
At William Kircher. That's it.
Is there an
At
underscore?
William Kircher.
Yes?
Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? For
I think
Twitter?
so.
Or
Yeah.
hashtag William Kircher.
It's
or
at.
William Kircher Facebook. Just, Google that and please follow me.
Absolutely. And Hannah, you can find Hannah on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, so Cimmerillion28, and you can find me on Instagram of Baggins is here. Yeah.
That Baggins is here.
If you want, I mean, I'm not gonna force you to. I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna force you.
Well, yeah, I mean, like he might. I'm not.
No, I'm
There's
not
a
gonna force
difference.
you. Hey, bye everybody.
And you
It
can
was
find-
nice to chat. Sorry, I was a bit late.
It is actually
Traffic.
William Kircher. His Twitter is just William Kircher, and it's fantastic. I'm following you. There you are, sir.
Oh, yay!
Yes, and I am.
Oh, there's the there's the picture. 'cause
Oh, there
it's
is
on
that. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I dig that. Oh, cool.
It is
And
cool.
I'm oh, cool.
I know.
There it is, the Axiom, and I'm on Twitter and on Instagram
I'll show them closer.
at QuickBeam2000.
I'm gonna come
QUICKBEAM. Yeah, look at that. That's Axiom.
Pretty sick.
It's too blurry.
It's
Yeah.
too blurry.
We'll show it next week.
Bye bye everybody.
Hey guys,
See you next time.
thanks for being with us on the show. Join us next week live at 5 o'clock for Torn Tuesday here on the OneRing.net. Over and out. Mr. William Kircher, thank you for being here.